some of the terminology of what you do. Please forgive me. I'm not familiar with some of those terms, but
okay.
Endodontist?
Endodontist.
Endodontist.
Yes.
Okay, so root canals.
Yeah, so I specialize in root canals and surgery.
Okay,
yeah,
perfect. You have a wife and 2 children, right?
Yep.
Is it 5th and 6th grade? I
yep.
think is what
5th and 6th grade.
I just actually ran into Miss Tiana Taliaferro, not Tiana, her mom, Tina.
Okay.
Tina, right?
Yeah.
And she was telling me you had 5th and 6th grade.
Yeah.
You were born or grew up in Columbus, Georgia?
That's
is that
correct.
Okay. And he treats like big name people. I think I just remember you saying something about treating a football player or.
Yeah, we treat everybody from a lot of professional athletes, entertainers, from people you may have heard of like Usher, and probably rappers like Rick Ross, and singers and actors and actresses, and the list goes on and on. So, but it didn't start off like that, and I'm gonna share, my journey and how I got to where I am.
And when was he has a recent book, I'm not sure how recent, when was it published?
It was published about 4 years ago.
Okay, and it's how to get to the root of your problem?
Yeah, it's called Getting to the Root of Your Problem. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's good though.
I almost had it.
I almost got it, yeah. 365 days of inspirational thinking.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember after the seminar call what came. And then also you serve on the Georgia Medical Board for dentistry, right?
Yeah, I'm an expert consultant to the Georgia Board of Dentistry, and I'm also an ADA spokesperson. So that's why somebody said something about Chicago. Beware of Chicago in the wintertime. And that's where our headquarters is located, the American Dental Association. Yeah.
Cool. So this is a little bit of who Dr. Short is. I've asked him to share his story with you today, and then we'll do just like normal, asking several questions. You guys feel free to interject at any moment and ask questions. Okay. So with that, Dr. Short is just going to share with us who he is and how he's gotten here today. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys for inviting me here, and I want to make sure you guys ask whatever questions. Like I was telling James here, Mr. Beard, that when I have small group settings, I really enjoy it because I like to be vulnerable. I open up, and some of the things that I would share here, I wouldn't share in a larger setting or in those kind of situations. So just kind of give you just a little background. I'm from Columbus, Georgia, born and raised there. I never knew my father. I grew up as a single parent with a single parent. I wasn't a single parent, but you know what I mean, right? And so I grew up, and I look different from everybody else. Everybody in my family, they're African American, and I'm like, why do I look different? My skin tone is different, my hair texture is different. And my mom said, hey, well, your dad left, right before you were born. I'm like, okay, well, did he leave any memo about, himself, where he is? She's like, no, not really. And I was like, well, what is he? She said, well, he's Indian. I said, okay, you tell a 5-year-old that their dad's Indian, the first thing you're gonna think is TP with a feather in the hat. So that's what I thought. So I was running around, like, hey, yeah, my dad's Indian, but no one really got it because there were no Indian people really in Columbus. So it was kind of like whatever. So I grew up, different, like in that respect. I was very small and skinny, so Rico Short kind of fit the title. So I was always Short Rico, and the person that people picked on, and I ended up being very shy and quiet for a long time. So growing up, I was kind of weird because I always liked to do well in school. And I was kind of embarrassed because all my other friends, they really didn't care about school. And so what happened was when you have awards day, which I don't know, do y'all still do that now? Awards day where they call your name, you get up and get something. Well, they would call my name so much, I used to tell them, just save my stuff to after and I can pick it up, because I knew once I go up there, I can hear my friends kind of snicker and talking nerd and this and that. And I just didn't want that peer pressure. And again, I didn't have any mentors, so it was kind of hard. So I had to kind of be a quiet nerd, so to speak, because when I got my schoolwork, I still went out and hung out with my friends that played basketball and all leads me into, you know, the other discussion. I got raised in a pretty rough environment. I saw a lot of gangs in my neighborhood. In fact, in our neighborhood, in Columbus, a certain area that in certain neighborhoods you were automatically a member of a gang whether you wanted to be or not. So there were certain areas that they knew where you lived at, you couldn't go over there because, you know, they would fight or even, you know, shoot. And so on Sunday nights, I live by a recreation center. They would have a bunch of people get together, drinking and all that kind of stuff, and then, you know, after they have the alcohol and, you know, start fighting and shooting. So when I used to hear bullets flying, me and my mother, we had to hit the floor because we didn't want to get shot by a bullet. And there was one time where there was somebody that actually got shot in my front yard, and then they were knocking on the door. We wanted to help them, but we didn't know we were going to get shot. So, and it was a young guy, he was probably 18, so we didn't know if he was going to live or die, but we were too scared to open the door, so we did call 911, and, you know, and they came and took care of him. Unfortunately, he didn't die. So, so it was a really, you know, different environment, but it wasn't scary in a sense because that's all I knew. You know, I knew you had to survive. And some of my friends that were doing well, they were selling drugs, but they had all the latest Jordans and all the nice clothes and all those kind of things. I'm like, man, I want that kind of stuff. But I knew selling drugs wasn't the way to go. So, so I tried to figure out, I was like, okay, I want to get out this cycle, and I want to do something. So my plan A, I was a pretty decent athlete. Baseball was my thing. Plan A, I was going to play for the Atlanta Braves. You couldn't tell me anything different. I was a great shortstop, you know, a great athlete. I tried to play football one year, and I was a wide receiver. I can catch. I was fast, and I remember the guy. I don't even know if they have this play called double reverse. I don't know if for athletes, but basically you get the ball, you hand the ball off, and you're supposed to fool the cornerback, and you don't fool him. They hit me in the stomach. I lost my wind. That was the first time I lost my wind. I thought I was dying. So I was like, that's it. So my football career was over. So then we played baseball, and that was my path. And we got to high school. Well, back then you had to practice on Sunday. So my mom was like, hey, you know what? I don't want you to be practicing Sunday because you had to go to church. We were raised in a pretty religious background, Christian background. So on Sundays, that's the Lord's Day. You can't go to church, you can't fish, you can't do any of that stuff. And I remember my grandmother saying, if you fish on a Sunday, you're gonna pull out a talking fish. Well, I didn't know what a talking fish was, but it didn't matter because that was enough to scare me not to fish on Sunday. So, so on Sundays, that's what we did. And then, so going up through high school, like I said, I continued to make good grades. Didn't want people to know about my grades. I got introduced to a mentoring program. I still remember the name of it. It was called Uniting Columbus Beyond 2000. And basically, the counselors would hand select some students that pretty much had an engine, but they didn't have the steering wheel. What do I mean by having an engine and having a steering wheel? I mean, they had the drive, they had the academic talent, but they didn't have anyone to, you know, get it going in the right direction. So they saw that in me, and they said, okay, well, we want to introduce you to this program. Probably similar to this kind of program. I understand it's something you have to apply for, and it's a privilege to get accepted to this program, to get introduced to people, you know, that can come in and